correctly with the correct amount.
D20 Radio, where gamers roll.
www.d20radio.com.
Welcome to Me and Steve Talk RPG, the podcast where me and my friend Steve...
We're playing games this time.
Alright, cool. Who wants to summarize for Steve what happened last session? 2 sessions? 1 session? I can't remember how long you've been out, sir.
I think 1 session.
I think it was 2, actually.
Did you go to the Rusty Spoon?
I was part of the conversation that recommended the Rusty Spoon.
Yeah, he was getting slathered while I was getting slathered.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
didn't get to hear the Rusty Spoon stuff.
Okay, so we gotta summarize the last 2 sessions, though.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, that's okay. It happens.
We're doing this for the podcast. This was intentional.
So after all the slathering, and I went and got some chocolates that made my mouth turn into the sun, we went with the information that we had to go over to the Rusty Spoon.
Mm-hmm.
And ended up meeting over there some of the agents of basically Secret Service, and had some conversation with them, eventually convinced them that it would be someone that want to listen to about some information we had about an attack.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to not talk there, and we started making our way to somewhere. I don't think that the location was disclosed.
It was the specific location wasn't disclosed, but they said that they were going to take you to like their operations base.
Yep. On the way there, we got attacked by
Strong word.
verbally
Oh,
attacked.
no.
No. Let's be honest. Who did the attack?
We were approached.
That was
we
Barry
were,
who definitely threw the shit first.
Oh, absolutely, it was my fault. But we were approached by the I can't remember the name of the group right now.
Kalaris.
Thank you. We were approached by a Karlax officer trying to get us to ditch the Antillis spy network folk and talk with them instead. And I just completely irritated the out of that poor dude, prompting him to attack us. And we successfully beat all of them. I died almost. Didn't die, and then we all collectively kicked ass.
We didn't beat all of them.
Oh yeah, the one guy that I annoyed the shit out of ran,
He
and
threw a
we
smoke bomb.
we couldn't catch him.
Although he was, Prangalar was able to hop on the rooftops and track him to, I believe the ship's name was the Inconspicuous.
Inconspicuous.
And it was a merchant ship, basically, that he was going to be hiding out on. So we have the name of the ship and where he went. It's in the harbor, and that's where we left off.
Yep.
The Antillis Secret Service folks did not participate in the fight either, which is another issue.
Yeah.
Well, because the GM ended up not being at their house, and so didn't have all the data blocks for everyone.
But story-wise, there could be something there that we got to talk to him about.
Sure. Yeah, so why weren't they involved?
I don't know.
I'm going to make you come up with a reason now because you forced the issue. You asshole.
Before we get into that, I was going to just run by some XP spends that I did. Is that okay?
Yeah, don't care. Whatever.
All right. So I bought a level 1 talent called Unremarkable, which adds a failure to identify me in a crowd.
Oh.
I also bought the first rank of Stealth, and which is a career skill, and the first rank of Skullduggery, which is not a career skill.
Ooh, some big bucks being spent. Very cool. Other people were almost dead as well. I'm pretty sure Steve, I'm pretty sure Karlax was like almost.
I wasn't too bad.
Oh, you weren't? Okay, then must
I
have
don't
been
think. Let me look.
Stonejaw.
Oh, Barnelby went down actually, and he got
In
brought
one
back
hit.
up by Karlax.
Yeah, I'm at half.
He talked shit and he got.
I talked shit and I got hit.
Speaking of which, Barnelby, you did take the Celestia Preen, So you had that drink that let you see into like the celestial realm.
Mhm.
So I think while you were dead, you had like some kind of like epiphany, or like saw some crazy shit. And I have some ideas that I think would be fun for your character, but I also want that to be something that potentially we do together. So I just want to acknowledge I think that would be a fun thing to kind of give your character a little bit of direction.
Yeah.
Cool. So basically, you're in this alley. It's at night. There's blood everywhere. There's 2 splattered bodies of the archers that Prang basically knocked into the street. There's 4 dead thugs. Some of them kind of charred crispy because of a flame grenade that Barney pulled out of his pocket. Because who doesn't carry around stuff like that in their pockets? And I think the 2, they were called signals and flares, or SF operatives. The 2 main ones were in the alley, and there was a third one that was hanging out with Prang. I think that they're kind of interfacing with the local law enforcement who got alerted, as you kind of the group have a moment to kind of recoup and recover, since there's a lot of injuries between all of you.
Oh yeah, and the guy that got away, he beheaded one of the town's guard on his way out.
Yes.
Any questions on any of that, Steve? You feel caught up, or
I feel caught up. I feel pretty good about that. So
it was a couple interesting sessions.
yeah, I can
Oh.
hear that.
Well, my goal, and Steve, I know you've used this system before. My goal of this last one, and I told the rest of the group, was this is going to be one of the few times I'm going to force a combat. And it was really just to give you guys a more structured combat experience. And then kind of from here, everything is very open-ended. Since the feedback I got from the first session was a little too non-structured. So I wanted to make sure I did the balance between the 2 types of action. So, Barney, you got blood like everywhere. What are you doing? And Kulweg, like, you narratively, you were a part of this combat. How are you participating in it? What kind of cool things did you do to help out the group?
I feel like Kulweg is the kind of guy who he just always sort of has different potions or bottles that he's throwing out at all times, just sort of like chucking into the mix. So I don't know if he was like able to help out other people during combat by like tripping people up, or you'd mentioned that Barnelby pulled out like a alchemist bomb or something out of his pocket. I'm sure Kulweg probably made that and was just like handing it out. Like,
yeah, you guys were probably drunk in a bar one night, and Barney was just like, maybe that shouldn't be on the table right now.
yeah, I imagine Kulweg's the annoying guy that's always just tinkering with his alchemist kit and making different little dumb. This is a goo bomb. What's it do? It makes goo.
For some reason, it's kind of making me think of the inventor from Avatar: The Last Airbender, like, really brilliant stuff, but like some like, oh, it's a finger safe knife sharpener kit. It only took me 3 fingers to figure it out. Cool. And I think that the one Thomas Lithander, who was the signals and flare nerd agent, I think he probably had a panic attack. And so I think what was happening is probably Charla and you were kind of helping defend them. And so you guys were in more of like a defensive kind of place as opposed to the more aggressive. Love it. Barney, how are you coming into the group with this? Like,
Well, I nearly died. We need to get somewhere to heal. I am not doing great.
You look like you've had a better day. Other days, not today.
Oh wait, does that mean that you're back from your scouting mission to see where he went?
Yeah, so that's what I'm.
All right. Okay, cool. Did you find him at least? Oh.
Yes, he's on made his way back to the harbor. There's a ship called the Inconspicuous.
That's totally not conspicuous at all.
Well, it's a merchant vessel that he's hiding out on. Unfortunately, one of the town's guard was in his way.
Oh, yeah. The same thing he did with me, of course. Yes. Fun. Well, the question now remains, should we go after him and face another battle, or should we let him scurry off?
Well, it would seem to me that if he went to hide on the ship, he likely has allies there.
Yes, and I don't believe I feel like being stabbed again. I
I-
don't feel the things I saw while I was dead would terrify you, truly. When the abyss looks back, it really changes you.
Well, fortunately, it wasn't that long.
Oh, oh. Well, that says something about Mo. It felt like an eternity for me.
In a matter of seconds, I do believe.
So at this point, Sharla, the orc signals and flares officer, is going to come over to the group, and I can't remember her voices at this point, but right. Clearly, you're wanted by Kalaris. Ooh, so the Kalaris is kind of like militaristic. They call them, they have the Inquisition. They're very much like, they perceive themselves as noble. In some ways, what they're doing is noble, but they've gone a little too fanatic into it. What would a good name be for their like a secret like service, kind of like they're in the shadows, cloak and dagger kind of group?
Hmm.
And I don't know if you get any more naming rights, Terry, after you came up with the inconspicuous for the ship.
What about, like, the Kossad?
Steve, you like using words I can't spell.
Kossad.
Kossad. Okay. What does that mean, or where does that come from?
Basically, I just took the name of the Israeli Special Forces division and changed the M for a K, because Kalaris,
God.
or C if it's C, whatever.
It's K, you're right. All right. All right. Touche, sir. Mossad. All right.
Well, that's the Israeli, so use a K for
Does it
Kalaris.
stand for Institute of Intelligence and Special Operations? All right, that works. Yeah. Okay. Right. So the Kassad agents clearly have an interest in you, so this information that you have must truly be valuable. We we have managed to keep you out of the official reports, so to say, on this fight. The Isles of Antillis Navy are going to be, well, protecting you some for this. After all, we do owe you a great debt and saving our lives. So, um, I think it would be best if maybe we got to the safe house. It is in fact actually nearby.
I think while twisting like the top onto one of his bombs, Kulweg just goes, "You're welcome," and like sticks it in his backpack.
I appreciate you saving my life, but I also worry that you might end my life. So, does someone keep an eye on this one?
He clicks another one and goes, "Absolutely."
In all fairness, he's not ended any of ours yet.
Great! I can't wait to be in a small room with you.
Oh, he's only had an explosion happen. What was it, guys? Like about twice this last week.
While
Oh, in
this
the last week. Yeah.
It was a small explosion, nothing major, nothing that would destroy organs, just singe a little hair.
I feel like Stone Jaw holds up like a sign, no workplace accidents is in, and it's got like 7 days or something
days.
written on it. He's just like,
He's like erasing it because of the battle that just happened.
Just preemptively erasing it.
In fairness, though, we don't allow him in the ordnance room.
it was a record, longest time gone without an accident. Right. Are you all fit for travel? It does seem several of you are rather injured.
I'm quite injured.
this isn't my blood, and Prangalar starts bathing himself like like cats do.
Right. So you are quite injured.
Oh,
Okay.
I am.
I've been better, but I'm okay to move on in the immediate.
In the exactly. I'm well enough to hovel. Oh, it hurts to laugh.
She's gonna hand you a potion. or the equivalent of a potion in this universe. We haven't really defined it yet, but it's definitely something that integrates the crystal text. So it's something that has like crystals and runes like integrated into some kind of like healing apparatus. We can define it later. But she's gonna hold out a military grade kind of healing patch to you. So you technically used one when Karlax saved your life. So within a day, basically these healing potions go from 5, and then if you use a second one, it's now 4. A third one is 3. So each use is less potent.
Okay.
So you're able to heal back 4 more hit points or wound thresholds.
That is all my wounds taken care of now. I'm fit as a
Perfect.
fiddle, if I had one.
That comes later. Right. Unless there's anything else. I have more agents coming to run interference for any additional observers, so we should be able to make our way in relative unmolested.
Go ahead and have them stall the inconspicuous, I believe it was called. Might do you some good, if you can.
Prang I don't think has told you that yet.
Oh, he did.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Why am I doing this?
Krang, why is he doing this?
Our friend that got away, that decapitated one of the town's guard, is taking refuge on the Inconspicuous. It's a merchant ship that happens to be in.
Right. I will have the Navy set on that right away. Clearly, this was a high-level agent within the Cassad. And they're going to actually lead you kind of further through this industrial park and is going to walk up to a building that claims to be what? What is the front for this S&F branch?
I have an answer. I don't know if you'll like it.
As long as it's not the Inconspicuous 2, I'm sure I won't hate it. What's your thoughts?
Okay, either a bar named Shenanigans or a Build-A-Bear. Build a creature workshop.
All right, it's a build. I mean, we don't have trademarks, so can we say Build-A-Bear? But so I like the idea of Build-A-Bear. So one of you other guys, I want you to tell me how we're making it into a high fantasy setting Build-A-Bear.
Why don't
What
you
are
just
they?
call it like Frankenstein's?
Ah! That's perfect.
Okay, so going off the
Frankenstein's
crystal.
Build-A-Bear.
No,
How
no,
about-
well, I mean, if you want to keep the Build-A-Bear thing, but I was thinking of like a fancy place. I was trying to put the pieces together, but I was thinking of like a fancy place.
Okay,
It's just
So is
called
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
Pieces together, Steve. I see what you did.
What if it's like a place where you can go and build, like, for lack of a better way to say it, like large pseudo crystal and action figure type thing?
Like small soldiers esque.
Like say, Barbie sized, but like custom crystal and mini
golem
golems.
things. Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like that would be.
That'd be
pretty
really
awesome.
weird for you though, wouldn't it?
I mean, maybe.
That's where he goes for his spare parts.
that's the kid. They're a little small for him.
He'll grow
But
into
it would also be a cover for them having real crystal stuff in the place.
Cool.
Yeah.
So it's a Frankenstein's build your own adventure action figures. What is the current like action figure that everyone is trying to get their hands on, Eric?
This one happens to be it's almost like Rocket Raccoon. It's a militarized anthropomorphic raccoon. So it has a sword and a shield, and its eyes glow with the crystals in them.
It's Grenade Possum.
There you go. Grenade possum. There we go.
And I think it's got that Furby ability to like parrot back words and stuff.
Can we call it Awesome Possum?
Awesome Possum. There you go.
Okay, so I think there's at this late hour, the shop is definitely it's still open. There's still a lot of people coming in. This is actually one of the kind of tourist stops. So all the cruise liners showing up. Like there's just tons of these people from all over the Minbara coming in and grabbing, and she's gonna lead you actually around to the back down kind of this brick tunnel that you go down into the basement, and it's in the back of an alley, so it's pretty secluded. Not many people notice. Prong, why don't you go ahead and make us a stealth check? It's just gonna be an average difficulty, just to see if you draw any attention. And you one of your talents let you be less observable or something like
Yeah,
that.
in a
What was
crowd, so it makes
well,
them have a failure if they're trying to spot me out of a crowd.
got it. Got it. Well, this is kind of the inverse of that. So why don't you take a success?
Okay. All right. And you said just average, so 2.
Yeah.
All right. Those cancel. So 1 success, 1 opportunity.
For you or for me?
What?
Opportunity is not a term, an advantage or
Oh,
a
so
spell?
advantage. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, but which one of us has the opportunity here?
Sorry, I was playing L5R and it's opportunity on L5R.
Oh, I
We
don't
all have the
understand that system.
opportunity.
Cool. Yeah. So you guys are able to kind of, even though you're a rather larger group to kind of be sneaking down an alley, you're able to do so without drawing any attention to yourselves. What is that advantage?
So the advantage is that this place is, if we needed to get back here, there is a landmark that I've picked out that I can key on if we need to get back to this place because it is kind of, like I said, nondescript and kind of out of the way. So,
Hmm.
Sure. Yeah, you have a back doorway into this place. Yeah.
yep, back doorway.
Perfect. And I kind of like the idea that they set this up thinking that this action figure thing was going to not be successful. It was meant to be a front, just like popular enough that it's like not surprising for people to be coming and going, but instead it kind of became this big fad. And so they're having to balance running basically a covert operation underneath this, now incredibly popular place that tons of people are going. So yeah, so you end up going down. Basically, it's the stone beautifully carved, and you kind of twist down into this underground space. There's 2 guards standing at the door, but as soon as they see Charla, they wave you in, and you go through several levels of kind of security. There's some scans. You get a sense like they have an idea of kind of like there's weapons, but it's like a very basic kind of just like almost like a metal detector, but with a crystal that's able to pick up on stuff. And eventually you're led into this underground chamber, and it's going to be this giant kind of domed place. And you see this incredibly detailed, glowing map of Mimbara, the planet you're on. And it's kind of shining up from a rune, and it's kind of slowly spinning above this big table where there's lots of people working. There's kind of like other little flat maps that, different markers or tokens are indicating fleet movements. And there's a whole bunch of like the nerd stuff that Karlax has been like still talking the ear off of. The nerdy, wiry man, Thomas Lithender. Like kind of those kinds of almost like telegraphy type rune equipment. And she's going to lead you to a table, and you see this very sophisticated, very regal looking matronly elf who's sitting at the table. And seems to be the person kind of in charge. And she's going to turn, and she goes, protocol. What are you doing bringing civilians into this space? Charla, you're one of my best agents, but you know better than this. And I don't want to just play myself talking to myself. That's going to get really weird pretty quickly. So she's going to kind of defer to your group. Right. Well, these unique individuals have proven themselves trustworthy. I think you need to listen to what they say. Okay, this better be good.
Oh, I guarantee it will be, well, maybe not good, but it's very important.
Right. And shall I just live here in suspense, or are we going to continue with the foreplay?
Oh, for as long as you wish, but how about I go ahead and just spill the beans? Release the tension as it were.
Are you making a bunch of fart jokes?
No, perish the thought.
Release the pressure. Spill the beans. I'm so glad you're the face of the group.
Right? It has come to our attention and information that oh god damn it, what were they called again?
Claris.
Claris, thank you. Oh my god, I'm gonna need it like
I don't know.
plastered on my.
I think you're just first off, you can take notes. I'm just saying. Second off, you could also just pretend your character can't ever remember anyone's names, and then it's just in character.
Perfect. So we have on good authority that the Caleris are going to try and attack Antillis.
Right. That seems like a rather large claim that's going to be hard to.
Here is the time, the date from a ex-Caleris soldier.
Right. She's going to take it. She scans it. She lets out a kind of a pitched whistle, and like someone over in like the nerd area like pops up, kind of does that, like looks around, comes over, and she kind of leans over, whispers, and she's gonna hand the form to this person. They're gonna take it back. Right. Now, I'm not saying that this is genuine or not, but you're wanting our nation to go to war over a piece
Mhm.
of paper that you state is coming from a Claris naval individual.
If
That-
I may interject,
as long as you put that bomb away first, I'm okay with that.
he spins it like a basketball on the tip of his finger and then like flicks it into his backpack.
Got it. We might, if we keep doing really ridiculous stuff like this, we might start rolling to see how stable some of these things are.
We can. That is
My
perfectly
mental-
acceptable.
My mental state stability. I don't know. I'll be rolling a lot for that.
Can't roll for what you don't have, bud.
I could absolutely roll to see how bad or large the explosion is from
Yeah.
Kulweg.
So I am definitely going to be spending story points at some point to make you do some rolls for that.
Okay.
I want you to be able to keep using it. It's a fun narrative for your character, so I don't want to like punish it constantly, but I am gonna like take moments of just being like, you know what? Boom. Let's see what happens here. So spins
Fair.
it, tosses it, catches it. You're slathered up. You're feeling good. You're nice, relaxed.
So he just basically goes, I mean, you could ignore the piece of paper. It'd be absolutely broadsided.
Oh, absolutely.
And if it is inaccurate,
And of course, there's no way at all of verifying its authenticity, now is there?
no.
Well, if I might, the cruiser that went down 2 days ago.
Come again?
Oh, yes, the cruiser.
Yes, the
The
Antilles
cruiser.
cruise that was
the one and only cruiser, because we only have one in our entire fleet.
The wings of
Hey,
now that-
Jerry,
the...
how many cruisers are in the Antilles fleet right now? And some other guy like pops up, was like, oh, it's like 300 right now, I believe.
The one carrying
the
the
one that
very
went
special
down,
guest.
a few days ago that was attacked by the Karlax. This document came from the ship that attacked that cruiser.
So real quick, like you guys are the ones that are kind of reporting that event happened. So because they probably haven't gotten that information yet. So that's why she's seeming very confused.
Ah.
I haven't heard anything about a cruiser going. I mean, we have several that are overdue for check-ins, but that's not abnormal on some of these secret projects as well as the outer patrols. But none are overdue enough that we'd consider them lost.
Any on a particular special mission?
Carrying a catfolk.
A very special catfolk. One
We
that
have-
knows things.
We have many catfolk in our navy.
Oh,
also-
no, this one's not part of your navy. Not at all. But a very special guest indeed.
Can you make me you need to make me some kind of social check. You're basically
Cool.
trying to get a intelligence officer with very vague innuendos that you know what's going on to omit a super secret classified detail. So that is not something that's just gonna be like, oh yeah, oh, you're talking about that thing. Yeah, we're totally doing that super secret thing. So this person is really good at this.
If I were to say more information and just spit it out because it's safe.
You can do whatever you want. I'm just giving you context. Like, you're being very coy, and this person's job is to keep secrets.
Oh yeah. I was just hoping for the eyes widening, oh shoot, whisper, whisper. But let's see. Oh gosh, I can't remember the it was an occult member, if I remember right. Gosh, it was a while ago.
You need to give me more context. Sorry, I'm not sure what you're saying.
The person that was killed on the ship, that interacted with Prangalar.
The catfolk?
Yeah.
Oh,
It
sorry,
was
sorry.
ex-cult member that was working with, oh goodness, what was
So,
previously thought to be the big bad, but was actually like holding at bay the dark, entity that
so the character's name.
Harbinger, the Harbinger. That's what it was.
So the catfolk's name was Tavana Shana, and your character, I can't remember what Prang told, but this character was a herald, or
Harold.
specifically
Yeah.
an Elsewalker. The
Okay, there we go.
Harbinger is something that was claimed was coming, that the darkness, the evil is coming.
Thank you for the clarification. I appreciate it.
Frank's
Okay.
just sitting back listening.
So oh gosh darn it. Well, you just said it earlier ago, not the Harbinger, but the Herald.
Herald.
Thank you.
Harold,
This particular catfolk was the Herald.
I'm not at liberty to disclose classified
Oh, it doesn't
actions.
matter anymore because they're dead.
Coming in?
They
The-
were murdered by the Karlax, who we in turn killed to get this information.
Shit. That must be
Indeed.
why the pride of Antillis is overdue.
Hmm.
We had commandeered her to extract this individual from Karlax territory. We had, well, I guess it doesn't matter now. Please tell me what happened, or more importantly, what did she say? What message did she pass along? And this entire planet could be at risk.
Well, as for the message, I'm not the one who heard. I wouldn't be able to say, unfortunately. However, I can tell you what happened.
Please. She's gonna wave over, and they're gonna set up like a little. There's like a little tea thing going on. So there's like some crackers, little finger sandwiches. There's a teapot where some stuff is seeping. Are you drinking tea right now, sir?
Actually, yes.
Okay. Here's a really important question. What type of tea?
Simple green.
All right. So it's kind of a green tea that they put out, but there is going to be an assortment of like different fruits. These are these are delicacies. Like getting, fresh fruit is very rare. And basically, you can pick the fruit you want and kind of muddle it into your green tea to give yourself kind of like a flavored tea.
I will be like picking one up and like just like eating it whole. It's like, delightful.
Yes. As you were saying.
Oh yes, yes, of course. So the Kalaris.
I'm so glad you're the face, man.
Goodness gracious. The Kalaris folk attacked the Pride of Antillis. A battle ensued, as one does, and we came
Wait,
to aid.
You're telling me that they've declared open war on us?
If destroying your maiden vessel with a giant fireball is a declaration of war, then absolutely yes.
She's gonna like lift her hand up and snap, and like two people come over. One of whom is gonna sit down at the table and is trying to transcribe everything you're saying, and the other one, right? Please alert the Admiralty, as well as prepare to send this missive up the chain of command. And you were all present for this?
We
Indeed we
happened
were.
upon the altercation and assisted the Pride of Antillis.
Yes.
Also
We-
managed to bring back all the survivors that made it off the ship on our vessel.
I had heard that a privateer had arrived with a large contingent of our sailors, but I had not realized. What were each of your roles in this?
I was mostly a distraction, as I'm sure you can tell.
That's quite complicated of an answer.
I tended to the herald.
Please, I can't. I'm. Oof, I really wish I could do accents. I cannot stress to you enough that the answer to this question literally means nations worth of lives are at risk. What message did she give you?
She lamented that she failed her mission and was a little bit seemed delusional as she was expiring and called me brother.
I
And I said that I would carry her message on, which was essentially and I'm going to point to Karlax.
mm,
Karlax, show them.
So did we say it like implanted like in his upper chest?
you can say it and play it wherever the frick you want. It's your character. It was on a necklace, and you did say your character went to put it on when it kind
Yeah.
of
So I feel like it kind
integrated
of,
with him.
upper sternum area. So Karlax will sort of open his cloak, tunic, whatever, and kind of show the thing. The item caused some, what did you call them, prying visions?
Mm, Premonitions, visions of the past, some of the future.
And so, because I have a way with runic and crystal items, I attempted to see what it might show me, and it attached itself to me.
May I? And clearly wants to take a closer
Yeah,
look.
and Karlax will just make sort of a, like a go ahead type, gesture, body language.
So she's gonna stand up, and you hear her muttering something under her breath, and she makes several gestures with her hands, and then her eyes kind of start to glow, and you get the sense that she's cast some kind of spell on her eyes, and she leans in and looks. But this is probably one of the most powerful knowledge runes I've ever seen before. The intricacies of its layered magic is it's too complex for me to even comprehend. The amount of data stored on this must be astronomical. How are you processing it all?
Frankly, I haven't. I had a bit of a flashback to bits of what I assume are my own history, but I do not remember them myself. It seemed to show them to me.
Your system was, and she kind of steps back, shakes her head, and you see the kind of color around her eyes kind of fade. I am not an expert in this area, but I suspect that your system was overwhelmed, and so it is narrowing down the amount of data that your system is engaging with for your own protection. It's possible over time that you might gain more understanding or more knowledge from this. But there's clearly something important on this. There's clearly some data, some memory that we need to try to discover. But the last words of this herald spoke of darkness coming. Did you get to
Yes.
sense if they meant? Sorry, Eric. How much do you remember from that first session? I just don't like assuming that people remember as much as I
So
do.
I
I've taken
remember
notes.
my character only remembers that one flash.
Okay,
And she did say, "Darkness is coming. Keep it. I entrust this to you to keep it safe."
perfect. Cool. That's what I was looking for. So, what I am trying to do, and I'm not very good at this, is I've built like goals for certain portions of the story, and this is the evil is coming portion of kind of the progression. And so she was really trying to hey, we were trying to hold this evil at bay. We're losing. Cool. Right. So her message was that the dark. Did you have a sense of this darkness, this evil, if it was Caleris, or do you have a sense of what was meant by that?
I When I picked this thing up, I got a rush of a bunch of jumbled images. I'm not sure if it was the order that they were in. The only thing I can really remember is basically the descent of the prophet into what was once a noble cause, into their madness, essentially. That's all I recall out of it. So there was as you say, large amount of information that's in there. It looks like they're potentially is a lot of the past and some potential futures. But the herald said darkness is coming, was not very specific on it, but perhaps Kalaris is the darkness, perhaps they are not, perhaps they are fighting for the same end we are, but in their own way. I'm
Right.
not sure what to make out of this besides something not good is going to be upon us soon.
What should this elf's name be? Do you guys care? All right. So,
Make it something you can.
Allie, I know where you're going, you jerk.
I was gonna say, buddy.
Palomino.
I like Palo.
Palo is a good one.
All right. So this is Rear Admiral Palo, or was that the last name?
That's the first name. Her last name's Mina.
Okay. All right. So this is Rear Admiral Mina. It sounds like you're describing the legend around the fall of the prophet Sycorax. Ooh, did I change names? What did I give? What did I call the prophet?
Sycorax
Oh,
sounds
good.
right.
Okay. So I changed some names from my prior games. So, it sounds like you're describing the fall of the prophet Sycorax. Not much information is known about this, but it was rumored that in her fanaticism to protect us, she ended up falling and becoming an evil, believing that the ends justified their means. If this crystal has insight into this could help us understand why she did the things she did.
That's the
I
part that I remember at the very least. She was noble once.
her her intentions were good. Her methods by the end were, well,
It's
let's just say
because
I lost a lot of friends in that.
it's because she kept putting pieces of herself into this cause that she believed was the right thing, from what I can tell. And it began to consume her.
I thought for a second you were going to say into this crystal. And I thought,
No,
like,
no,
you
no.
are such a woo. All right, that's a story point that you just built there. All right. Right. Yes. She clearly feared something and let fear define her actions. Um, and you see like basically a bunch of people start signaling her over in a corner. Right. I I need you to consider, and this is by no means a fair request of you and your group, for you've already done so much for the Isles of Antillis. But unfortunately, when you're as competent as yourselves, I'm afraid I must use whatever tools I can find, and you've proven yourselves. I think we have several paths ahead of us. We could have you try to unlock this crystal. We could have you try to gain more information to prove, for I can't start a war over a piece of paper. We need more data showing that Karlax is making moves against us. Or perhaps you are able to come up with another option that will aid us in the coming days to try to hold this darkness back, be it Karlax or something else. She is walking off into a corner and letting you, the group, discuss about this. And you see, like, basically, there's like now just like a hive, like tons of people are like streaming in. Clearly, this was kind of like the night shift. They're pulling all kinds of people in. This place is getting louder, busier. Like all this stuff is happening now. Tons of people going in and out. Tons of runners. Data's kind of popping up. The map over the table is like doing all kinds of stuff, like zooming in and like showing stuff. But you guys are kind of left in this little kind of almost a little secluded area with your tea and your crumpets.
I could attempt to interface with the crystal. I'm not exactly familiar with how to do so, but being as it apparently seems to have interfaced with me on its own, if I do so, though, I would like very much for you all to be present and take note of anything that happens.
Oh, of course.
You know I'm not going anywhere.
Karlax, do you have a way to transmit or show the information as you are getting it? Could you transcribe it as you see it?
Possibly, as I am frankly unfamiliar with this type of operation, I do not know what my capabilities will be. I will happily record anything I can on my own. However,
I wonder if we could elicit the assistance of some here.
So real quick, what I'm trying to kind of let you guys do is have some agency deciding how you want to move forwards. You are not going to be able to just access this crystal in this space. You are likely going to need to, and you guys can kind of tell me how you want to do it, but you're likely going to need to track down someone special, find a MacGuffin that's going to let you do it. Like, she is the rear admiral of this. She put her magic glasses on, says, "Dang, this is above my ability."
Okay.
So think of this more of, you are in the village getting a quest to go find your first Pokemon. What Pokemon do you want to go after? And I want you guys as a group to kind of like talk about like, what would you guys have the most fun with? Like, each of these can have slightly different flavorings.
There has to be some way of decoding the information in there. So perhaps there's some kind of other runic or crystalline device that'll decode that. Do you think that's reasonable?
I do not know. I have not tried to voluntarily interface or access the crystal.
Or is there a way to upgrade you so you can handle the crystal and its information vastness?
What do we know of crystal smiths? Would we be able to find somebody who works with these things?
I'm assuming you're asking out of character.
Yeah.
So there are like mechanics, people who can kind of do basic stuff or simple stuff, but like the true artisans, like the top of their craft, these guys are kind of legends or like reclusive, rumored people. Definitely each nation probably has a couple that work for the nation, and kind of that you're really powerful, so we want to keep you happy kind of thing. Also, if you have a really cool idea, then that's also true. And you tend to come up with some crazy stuff. So, like, also I want to be clear, like, these people aren't just going to be walking down the street, but if you have this fun idea, that's definitely possible too.
So my thought. Go ahead, Steve.
My thought was really that Karlax or we as a group we've not voluntarily tried to actually access the crystal yet. So my kind of thought was that we don't even know we can't just open the lid.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying, like that was where my brain was kind
Got
of
it.
in character, was that we haven't tried to open it yet.
Cool. Sorry, then yeah, you can make me a roll if you want to do that.
Well, that had been my thought, was that I'm willing to try it. This seems like a reasonable environment to try it in.
100%. 100%. This is a really hard freaking roll. So it is oof. Steve, why do you do this kind of thing to me? It is going to be your rune tech skill, whatever that is. And I think this is gonna be 3 red and a purple. And if you succeed, I'm leaving the game.
Broke the MacGuffin.
And you learn everything. The holocron has revealed all.
Any setback that I can remove with my knack for it?
Yes, actually, you are not doing this under ideal situations, so that would be a setback die.
All right. Well, I don't have to deal with it.
Just to be clear, if someone has like a skill like that, I very deliberately come up with reasons for you to be able to remove it so it feels cool. Because otherwise, I try not to be too much of a jerk by like dumping them on you. So it's we gotta have that balance.
So net 1 threat.
Oh gosh, all right. I was really worried you were gonna succeed. Right. So I think what happens
I did have 2 successes, but they canceled.
Good. So I think in the same way that like we in our bodies are able to kind of like close our minds and kind of think of a region of our body and kind of become more aware of it. I think as Karlax, your body is a little at being more of a mechanical, magical device. There's almost like there's this new limb that's attached to you, but it's there, but like you don't have any awareness of it. It's kind of like there's a closed door in your house and there's things in there, you can tell, but you can't get in, you can't see it. And as you try to reach your consciousness out to it, you feel this just powerful being kind of look at you, and you get this sense of it's like, don't mess with me. And as you try to like push in a little bit, it kind of responds, and you kind of feel your system almost like short out a little bit. And so it's almost like you go through a hard reset, whatever that would be for your character. And you're kind of left with the message. Yeah, you get the sense of like you haven't earned the right or the respect, or you're not ready yet for this.
So I think Karlax kind of seems to go into some almost like a meditative trance for a moment, and probably kind of twitches a couple times, and then probably I think goes stiff, and then kind of not bad, but then kind of slumps, and then kind of comes back to, and just looks around. There is very much there. However, I do not yet have the ability to interface with whatever is there, but it is very powerful.
Do you know how we get that ability, or how you can get that ability?
I have heard that there are those, I've heard tales of those who have abilities around this. However, as a simple statement of fact, I have not yet met anyone of my own that surpasses my own skill level to date in person.
Who would have trained Karlax? Does he have a mentor figure?
My kind of concept with where this came from is they were kind of disconnected memories that he doesn't he has them, but he doesn't really, left over from the before time.
Got it. So it doesn't really know how he gained this stuff.
You're right. That was
Got
my
it.
kind of concept and creation, was that yes, he has some abilities with this stuff, but he just knows how to do it. He doesn't know how he knows how to do it.
Got it. Okay. So one of you other players, tell me how you are aware of well, let's back up. Do we want to go down is this the rabbit hole we as a group want to go down to? Is this the quest, the MacGuffin we want to go after? Do we want to go after like more of a spy kind of thriller, sneaking, gathering data, like to prove Claris, or do more of this like Force and Destiny mythos thing?
And just to be
'Cause
clear, guys, I was going down what I felt was an appropriate
yeah. Your
side
character
for the character. Not trying to lead it.
your character totally would have done that. Well, and I'm just trying, before I like do a lot of world building that might not be pertinent or on topic, is what I'm trying to gauge. So as a group, either as your character or out of character, what sounds the most exciting?
I like the kind of esoteric piece.
Yeah.
Finding the crazy old man who hides in the desert type deal.
Cool. Okay.
I'll second that.
I mean, we have an information group right here that can give us hints or clues to check this place, see if you can find somebody.
I'm not gonna
There's
be that easy on
rumor.
you.
And
I'm not
Oh
gonna
yeah,
be that easy on you.
there's rumors about all kinds of people all over the place.
So everyone has different intelligence skills as well as streetwise skills. So I do think that is potentially an option.
That'd be a fun
I
one.
I can make up a couple stuff, or we can build it together. What would people's preferences be?
meaning, sorry, just for clarification, you want to create new skills based on streetwise stuff, or just
No,
general
no, no. I'm
streetwise?
saying like this is one of those situations where it's like, hey, what do I know about the world? If you want to know like more of the shady underworld, that's where we could have you make a check to see if you know about someone in that world, or adventuring. Maybe you're aware of an enchanter, blah blah blah. Like, so this is where if you guys want to have me do more of the building, we can do a dice roll and come up with it. If you guys have a fun idea, we can just kind of spitball it together.
I already have a fun idea.
What is it?
Basically, like underbelly researcher. That the only reason he is working with the underground is mainly because it allows him to further his own researches. that does involve making golems similar to Karlax. Not the same, maybe, but he's working on similar concepts.
So we're gonna kind of retweak it a little bit because like the underground that starts to become difficult. So I think that this is going to be someone who kind of lives in their own setting. So I think specifically this is an inventor who has actually managed to create kind of like a floating city where lots of people come to do trade, and his inventions are some of the most desirable objects that are traded. So kind of around this person, there's a lot of go ahead.
So yes, that, and my underground skullduggery information would say there's more that he's doing that he doesn't tell people. That he's
Got it.
doing some potentially unethical experiments, and
He's trying to recreate Karlax's species.
yeah.
First off, you didn't roll, so you don't have to stick in the streetwise. Skullduggery isn't the act of doing something. It's not really the
Yeah.
knowledge of something.
Oh yeah, I just figured it would fit most with Barnelby's knowledge base. And
Sure.
it'd be cool to
I
kind of
mean,
have like a evil scientist kind of like
got it.
mucking about. Because if he can't help us, it gives us good reason to do whatever we'll end up doing with him.
Got it. So what I think we'll say is and we'll kind of define a little bit more later. We're gonna, for evil scientists, I'm thinking we're kind of say this is like a better off Ted scenario where this guy doesn't necessarily ask, should I do it? He just kind of does it. So he's come out with some just amazing inventions, but has also come out with some like war crime type inventions. And I think he's very secretive kind of about what his projects are, but basically ended up creating this giant floating city that is a more structured kind of like port of Tortuga. It's a very neutral location. It doesn't necessarily have that level of lack of civility. And this is a place where knowledge is kind of the more valued object. So a lot of things are, an exchange of knowledge, not necessarily finances or money.
When we have one hell of a bargaining chip.
I kind of like that idea.
A little bit of espionage, a little bit of sci-fi, a little bit of
Cool.
MacGuffin.
Cool. And I think that because of this, it's got like a little bit of that kind of like rich people want to go there to feel kind of like they're slumming it on the edge. So it's also kind of got this like fancier. So like everyone there is going to be very like fancy, and that's also partially kind of like a little bit of a cover for the other like more nefarious information and tech trade.
So was there you tell me, Ben, because you have some of the lore of your world.
No, you tell me.
So there
Anyways.
was a city
Sure.
named Barquat, Barquat.
Are you asking me or telling me?
I'm telling you. There
Okay.
was a city called Barquat that was around prior to the kind of cataclysmic event that was almost like held things like the Library of Alexandria type of thing.
Yeah, sounds good.
So this floating city, the name of it is New Barquat,
Oh, I love it.
which is an homage to that original place of knowledge.
Love it. So you guys would also know that one of the other spires or one of the other nations, Helium, is kind of the information broker nation. They actually are the ones who kind of do mail in this world. They have a smaller fleet, but they're very fast, agile, well defended ships. And they do have like a really powerful strike force. So like if you do mess with their ships, they come and punish you. But their fleet is really meant to be able to avoid. So they are the ones who disseminate a lot of knowledge. They are the ones who hold a lot of knowledge. They're the ones that trade a lot of knowledge. And I think New Barquat is kind of the not like the dark web equivalent, but it's definitely kind of more of that like grayer area of knowledge. So they're almost kind of like antithesis who kind of like respect each other, but also are in a little bit of a competition with each other.
It makes sense.
Okay. So it's 8:48. Steve, I've seen you yawn a bunch. So I think that we are potentially almost at a good place to stop. What I'm trying to gauge is how much more time do people think they have in them?
I feel like we can wrap the scene if you want.
Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna wrap the scene, but I'm in terms of pacing and then kind of like what I build us into. Like, should I wrap the session in the scene, or can I wrap the scene and pull us into something else?
I don't know. I think we have a little bit of thinking to do. At
Okay.
least maybe you do.
No,
So why don't
no,
we go ahead and
I'm gonna make you guys come up with all of it. I got nothing, buddy. Cool. So the rear admiral is gonna come back over. Right. I'm sorry to be rushed. I do appreciate all that you have done for us. And your captain. Also, we are compensating and making sure that the Navy is taking care of your ship. Have you decided what you want to do going forwards?
We have a few ideas of a general direction. New
Which
Barquat. I actually know a limerick from there.
Side note, so my brother just has bachelor party and he used AI to generate limericks for his character. Freaking hilarious. Really, really good limericks. But right. So the options were figure out Crystal, collect information on the Calaris war efforts, or come up with an idea, and your response was to go to New Barquats?
Yes, for information about the crystal.
Got it. So you were one of those kids in school who, when you had a multiple choice question, you wrote your own answer in.
Exactly.
Okay. One of the other people in the group. What?
Oh yeah, no, that is the plan. We are going to New Barquat.
Right. Okay. And is gonna like make eye contact with Karlax. I feel like you and I are more logical than your friends here. What path are you guys pursuing at this point? I need to know so I can dedicate resources into the appropriate areas.
Well, it would seem that the crystal that has chosen to join with me is not yet ready to give me any information. We were hoping that perhaps in such a place as this New Bakwat, we might be able to find a means to access some of this information.
Perfect. I feel like that was a lot simpler than this. And she kind of like rubs her temples a little
Oh,
bit.
I just said I
No,
totally said where we were going.
You have lost speaking privileges. There's so much I must do. What resources do you require of me, or are you able to see to this task as is? I will alert your captain about the course you're going to be going on. We, of course, will be compensating him in these endeavors, and I'll have one of my agents ensure you get back to your ship safely. And with that, she's going to kind of go back into the sea of people that are now just like swarming everywhere, and they're all kind of like basically moving around her. She's clearly the epicenter of this station, and you guys are going to have Charla kind of like, wow, that was rather successful. I'm glad I trusted you guys. Barney, hey, we're buddies. We're hanging out again sometimes too.
Hey.
But can you do me a favor? Can you stop pissing off everyone that you run into, especially my boss?
I just have one of those faces. I apologize.
Look, and your tongue gets you in trouble, man. Like, I appreciate it. Like, totally won me over. Like, besties for life now. But like, she's my boss. She can make my life a living hell. So like, maybe in the future, like, play it cooler for me.
Of
Great.
course.
Let's get you back to your ship. And she's gonna lead you guys back to the Comet's Tail. You guys are gonna be able to get boarded. The ship has basically been the Navy has stepped up, provisioned, ships repaired, everything's pristine. Some of your crew were lost in battle, and they've actually kind of given you temporary placement of some naval, especially Navy personnel from the ship you guys just rescued, and you are able to basically set sail, heading towards New Barquat. Cool. For next session, we will probably start off doing some world building of New Barquat, for you guys to kind of build out that city a little bit. So in the same way like we kind of did Monster of the Week, what's a fun location and maybe a fun NPC in that space that you might want to engage or interact with? If you want to define the evil genius, Terry, since that was kind of your person, I think that would be fun and cool. Feel free to message me to kind of like define what his ability levels and stuff are.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to be able to do everything.
No.
but so we'll probably spend a little bit of time building that out as you guys are arriving at this space and this location. So for me, this kind of feels like one of our chapters closing. So the other thing we're going to be doing at the next session is I'm going to be doing another one of those kind of like background character cards, which I said I was just going to do at the start of different arcs. And so it might be a little bit of a slower RP session, but a little bit more of a world building session. And depending on how it goes and how much fun we have with it, that will kind of help us decide, like going forwards when you go to new places, how much say you guys want to have over it.
Intro and outro music by the band 12 Noon. You can email us at meandsteverpg@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at @RPGs. Find us on Facebook at Me and Steve RPG Podcast, on Discord at Me and Steve RPGs, and as always, all of these links are in the show notes. Thank you, and be kind to one another.
How much for the cigar?
Cigar, $20, dog. You gotta go down the street to the store and buy that.